Okay, I'm gonna talk about the tires. I just did a little bit of video for Instagram a second ago for tires, but I want to do a compare and contrast of rear tires real quick. I have a couple of different bikes in here, a couple of different disciplines, from the Beta, the Husky, to the RM, to the CRF 450, and then tucked over there is my gas and my CR 125. So I think they have all bases covered right now. Anyway, let's go over my favorite tire and why it's my favorite tire. And I'm obsessed with this tire. I really am. I just love this tire so much. This is a Shinko SX 216 Enduro. It's a 140 8018 70R. All right. Why I like it is it's a little bit lower, keeps my bike a little bit lower. I'm only 67 inches tall. With this Shinko 120 118, it's too tall for me. I can't get both feet on the ground. Just a little bit matters. All right. And I was really worried about having to send my suspension in to get it professionally lowered, and then changing ground clearance and changing geometry, and kind of freaking out about it. But I'm really obsessed with this tire. I really love this tire, and here's why. I'm at 22 hours on this tire. I got 3 races on it so far, 2 enduro cross races, 1 sprint enduro. I'm getting ready to do another sprint enduro next month, and this month I have 1 more enduro cross race, and then next month I have enduro cross race. I'm going to keep running this tire until it is bald to see how many hours I can totally get out. This is the ultimate torture test. I've also been on lots of practice up in the hills and single tracks and rocks, and so far this thing does great in everything from clay, slick clay, mud, all the way to the rocks I have, concrete, gripping tires. This thing just grips. It's like a piece of sticky tape back there, sticking everything I want it to. As far as the tire goes, it is a softer compound tire. You have the SX216, which is the soft compound. All right. I race in so many different ones. You'd think I'd want like more of a medium compound, but honestly, the soft tire tracks and everything so far, and that's what I was worried about. Having too soft of a tire wasn't going to grab in the loose dirt and sand and all that stuff, and it's actually done great from the beach to the rocks to wood, concrete, everything. So I'm really happy with that. It's a very soft compound. It's wide. I'm running at 5 psi with an ultra heavy duty tube. I haven't popped one, haven't blown one out. It has the tubeless deal on it, but I'm probably gonna be running a Bib Moose right after this. I'm gonna order another one from Rocky Mountain. I got this one from Hillsborough Motorsports. They had one left, tucked away, hidden, but you can see I got this tire brand new with the bike, my 2020 TE 300i, and I love it. All right, so it's like 3 minutes of me telling you how much I love it, and what I've kind of done with it. We kind of compare it to other ones I've done. Here on the RM is an MX33. This tire's not, as you can see, like this one is pretty gummy. You can turn these knobs by fingers. There are some a little bit gummier. The 220 ride stuff's a little gummier. Here's an MX33. It's like an intermediate. This one does great on motocross tracks and bark track, and it doesn't do as well on the rocks. It's a little slippy in the rocks. Here's a Shinko 525 cheater on the CRF 450R. This is a 120/90/19. And it's only got a couple hours on it. See a little bit of rounding on it, not bad at all. But the SX216 has like the same compound on it, you know, a little bit gummier, I'd say, but it's just wider. This is, so for mine, I have one over here that is, I got my dirt bike stuff everywhere. I have a Shinko 525 cheater. Oh my goodness. A Shinko 525 cheater that I had on my 18 TE 300. And I had 33 hours on this tire. As you can see, not too bad. I had one race on this, and I had 2 races. One enduro cross race, one Enduro, sprint style Enduro on this, and a bunch of training in the rocks and stuff like that. You see, just kind of rounded off. My buddy's got the same tire. He's got 50 hours, 50 to 60 hours on it. He's still going strong. It looks the same, but he's mostly doing just trails. So if you're doing just trails, this hybrid is going to last you probably a piston in your bike. I'd say that because most people go about 100 hours, 90 to 100 hours. But this tire will last you a long time. Price range, Rocky Mountain, I believe they're like in the $70 range, $65, $70 range. Amazing tire, sticks to everything. I keep this around because if I need a spare or I rip one in half at a race, I'm going to toss it on. But you're going to be a little bit taller on that. So you're shorter riders, it's going to be a little bit taller. Maybe try finding a 120, you know, 90-18, something like that. Something's a little bit shorter. It's a little bit taller of a tire. That's why I like this. I can keep my suspension geometry the same. So how gummy this one is. Now let's see if I can get back here, but it's that's a SX216. And then on the Beta, we have an MX216. I really like this tire too. This tire's on the Beta X Trainer 300 to 2020. It's another one of my buddy's bikes that just stores in here too. Not as gummy, a little bit harder. So in the soupier stuff, this would probably be a little bit better. We've taken this on like clay, rainy days, rocks, tons of trails. It's got about 30 hours on it. As you can see, it's doing really good. I mean, it does not look like, it looks like maybe it's got 5 hours on it, maybe. But you can see it's holding up really good. This compound's not super hard, but it's harder than the 525, harder than the SX216, nearly identical to the MX33 as far as hardness. Great for a motocross track if you're doing sprint style enduros. You got motocross track, and you got bark tracks, and you got rocks, and it's wet and rainy, slippery. The only thing is this tire doesn't do great in rocks when it's wet. So if you have, it's rainy conditions, but you're going through puddles and stuff like that, it doesn't do all that great in the rain. As far as the rain, as far as like on rocks, where you got flat river rocks like we do here in the PNW. My garage is a mess. The shop is all full right now with my hot rods, so it's a front. That's a Moto Z. As far as the trials bike, as you can see that tire, the SX216, is very closely related to my trials bike tire as far as like gummy. That's what it feels like to me. More of the like trialsy type gummy that you would have. So then we got like the Sedona over here, straight up motocross tire on the CR125. You can see not a whole lot of give on that whatsoever. So yeah, this tire does pretty good. This is a Sedona, what is this? This is a 110/90/19 62M. Yep, Sedona 62M. Or the MX887. MX887 IT intermediate terrain. This is pretty good. This tire's actually been on, it's got about 40 hours on it. It's actually been on everything that my Husqvarna's been on. As far as this thing's got actually about, what has it got, 4 races? Yeah, it's got 4 Endurocross races on it. One of my buddies is borrowing this. This is the wife's bike, but it's got 4 Endurocross races on it. It's got about 90 miles through the woods up in Capitol Forest on it. And then it's been some time on my motocross track, my Endurocross track. So it's holding up pretty good actually. It's kind of rounded off. It's about time to change it out, but we're trying to just kill this tire completely and then probably run to the Shinkos. This bike's getting totally rebuilt from the ground up here very soon. New plastics, new engine, new head, 450 or 250F triple clamp and all that business, forks, all the new shower stuff, maybe a kit. Who knows? That bike gets beat up quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, this tire has probably, I don't know, 100 hours on it or something like that on the trials bike. But this is more closely related to the SX216. Kind of got another tire over here. We can here's another tire we got. We've put a ton of hours on. This is the Starcross 110. Starcross, where's the name on this one? Michelin Starcross. Anyway, we got a ton of hours. We actually went and did all this just to with a grinder, death wheel, chopped it up. But you can see this tire was chunking out. We opened them up so we could get a little bit more grip. It actually helped quite a bit to help it grip and a bunch of different stuff. So it's kind of wild. We just wanted to try it out, but actually it helped out in the rocks, it helped out in the rain, it helped flex a little bit more on it. But we did start ripping knobs off of it, stuff like that. So this, in this pattern like this, it's got probably this tire's got about 30 hours on it. And then we did this with the we got about 15 hours on it with all the cuts and stuff we did in it. So yeah, that tire, it's too hard. I didn't really like it for anything. So, but maybe on the motocross track it does a little bit better, but hey, we're Enduro guys. Anyway, it pretty much concludes our tire, like rear tires, like showing them what we have and what the different types are that we use for Enduro and stuff like that. But if I was to label it down to my favorite so far, this far, it's gonna have to be this SX216 is my number one. That's my number one favorite tire as of right now. Every tire I've raced with through my whole entire life of racing, which has been about since I was 7 years old, so about 20 years of using different tire compounds in race cars and the cars I build for my day job. You know, I use a lot of tires. I have to know tires. I have to know their compounds pretty good and figure out which compound's going to work for what in the car life and the truck life, off-road truck life, and now more than ever dirt bike life too. So my number one favorite right now is the SX216 from Shinko, the 140/80/18. I am absolutely number one obsessed with this tire. I love this tire. It's the perfect size. It makes my bike the perfect height for me. I can set my sag like normal at 107 or 110 millimeters where I got it at, and it's just it's done well. It's taken the abuse I put on it. It's lasting well. I'm gonna run it till it dies, just so I can give you like a full, like, you know, strict, strategic. I can do like a full review on this tire. Anyway, so can't even talk. Anyway, my number two tire that I like is the 525 Shinko. The downside of it is it's a little too tall for me. Even though I love it, I love the compound, I loved how much time I was able to put on it. It's barely even used, look like. I mean, seriously. That's 33 hours on that or whatever, and a couple of races, and it still doesn't look like it's hardly used. This thing is going to last forever. It's lasted forever. And I also have a Moto Z hybrid as well. That's a DOT tire, and it's pretty good. I like that one too, but that would probably be my number 4 tire. But anyway, so right now it's SX216, then it's going to be the 525 Cheaters, my number 2 tire. All right, the MX216 is my 3rd favorite tire from Shinko, from all tires actually right now. So right now my top 3 are Shinko tires. SX216, 525 Cheater, the MX216 is next, and then my next one would be the MX33 from Dunlop. I really like this tire too. This thing tracks well on all the races we've done, the trail riding stuff we've done. That one does pretty good too. And you have a 19 as well. Then I would say that the Moto Z Hybrid, which we didn't show in this video, is my next one at number 5. And then I would have to say after that would probably be that Sedona tire on the CR125 is pretty good. I like it too. It's lasted a long time. Next ones I'm going to be trying out is probably going to stick with these Chinkos. So this stuff might try out some other ones from Michelin as well, just to do a compare and contrast of those. But if you're still with us at this time, thanks for listening to my rambling and ranting. And like, share, subscribe. We're going to try to touch front tires next, and what my favorite front tires are, the pluses and minuses of front tires, and what I've found that I've liked so far is my combination. But thanks a lot. Have a great day. Stay safe. Stay healthy.